good on Monday to be able to get the pads on, and little update on Matthew. He's doing really well. We've got a good plan in place. We are going to still take some more time with him, though. Nothing that's changed in terms of the setback. I probably spoke a little bit too soon, but the ultimate goal is Houston and being mindful of that. So we'll take it a week at a time with him. So I did want to be able to, let you guys know about that based on sitting down with Reggie and with Matthew and talking with Dr. Watkins. Feel like that's the smart thing to do, a week at a time.
So you don't anticipate that he will practice at all next week?
No, do not anticipate that. But I don't have any more concerns. The goal in mind is Houston, and I do think that this is the best plan for him. And I wanted to let you guys know about that.
Well, it's just, if you had hoped and expected that he would be available.
Available.
I know,
Yeah.
but so this
I'm
doesn't
giving you the
raise
information that I know. It
no
does
more
not worry
concern.
me. What I probably should have done is say we're taking it a week at a time. But I don't have any reason to be concerned based on the information that's been given. And with that being said, I don't think we can be smart enough with somebody like Matthew. And I think it's best for him, best for our football team. And that's kind of the plan that we'll have moving forward. And so I know that will surprise people, but I did want to at least let you guys know as we're kind of being fluid with this, but I don't have any reason for concern. But I do think it's the smart thing, just based on September 7th and whatever the date of our opener is, that being the main goal.
So if there's no setback, does that just mean it's been a slower recovery process?
No, I wouldn't even say that, Adam. I would just say that as you start to really talk to, you get the different opinions on what is the best way to allow him to be as healthy as possible for 17 games, and then hopefully you earn the right to be able to do that thereafter. You're really saying, okay, let's really gain all of the information, and we'll take it a week at a time is kind of the approach that we're going to take. We do have some target goals in mind, but similar to last week, what I don't want to do is get ahead of myself. I think we have to be fluid and flexible, and ultimately this is what's best for Matthew and for our football team, and we have to be ready to adjust and adapt. And I don't have any reason to be, concerned. It's just going to be a little bit longer in terms of you guys seeing him out on the field than maybe what I had originally anticipated, but that's going to be okay, and we'll handle it the right way.
Sean, what stands out to you in camp this year as opposed to similar this time last year, and where you guys are because you're so much younger than?
Yeah, I think it's hard to compare year to year. I think what I've liked about this team is the attention to detail. I think they've stacked some good days. We just finished up our 5-day acclimation period. I think guys are competing. I think it'll be good to be able to put the pads on, to be able to add some different schemes that are more in alignment with playing real football. I thought there were some really good opportunities for us to be able to learn from today, where emotions get high, guys are competing, and how do we really push the envelope where there's that controlled aggression. We're not doing anything that hurts each other or hurts our team if we were to get stupid penalties and in a real game. And so I think that's what's great about these practices is let's mimic and emulate game-like situations as much as possible, and then be able to really continue to test ourselves both mentally and physically.
Sean, we didn't see Pooh or Apollo Witherspoon out there today. Do you have any updates on them?
Yeah, Pooh is, we're just being smart with Pooh. He's got a little bit of a calf. And Akello, was just feeling a little something, so, he'll be day to day.
Is it like a sickness?
No, just in his, a calf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both of those guys. I've been super impressed with him. He's done such a great job of, you look at a guy that came in and was mature beyond his years as a rookie last year. He's got the ability to play all three spots. He can really compete in the run game, and I think he's really continuing to increase his route volume. He's played really well. He's strong. He's so conscientious. He's just one of those guys that you just don't bet against. He's a good football player. You can't have enough guys like that. We love Jay Wade.
Jordan and Blake have both talked about how year one was learning what to do in the offense, year two was learning how to do it. What is the biggest part about making that jump in terms of understanding the offense in your second year in the league?
I think it's just getting reps. We talk about it all the time, Adam. Repetition is the mother of learning. I think guys get more and more comfortable the more that they play, the more that they really understand, what's going on the other side of the ball and kind of what's the intent of what we're really trying to be able to get done. But those guys are both so conscientious, and really that's consistent with a lot of the guys that we have on our football team. And I think that allows them to just get better because they're conscientious. And, you'll hear me say it over and over again, stacking blocks. And it gets, it can be boring, but man, it's the only way that you continuously grow and continuously go in a direction that we want. And both those guys are in the midst of doing that.
Could you share your thoughts? Could you share your thoughts on Nate Landman so far?
He's been awesome. He's a great communicator. He's got great command. He's got the ability to elevate people. He's got a great feel for attacking the football. He got another punch out today. But I just like the way that this guy's got a great vibe. He's just got some natural leadership traits and communication skills where he understands what's going on from an all-22 perspective. And I think when you're talking about a guy that's at that inside linebacker position, it's key and critical, and he's done a great job leading the way for that group.
Sean, what would you have to say to Jared after that little scuffle?
Just kind of what we talked about, controlled aggression. I like the way that he responded, but part of one of the things that makes Jared great is that edge that he plays with. I can remember it's the same things that Aaron and I used to talk about when he was playing, and you're always right on that line of using the aggressiveness, that edge, the ability to be able to use. He likes to talk shit, and so you don't want to take that away from him, but you want to make sure that you're able to reset from one snap to the next. We always talk about let's respond, let's not react, and I like the way that he finished practice.
Coach, what do you think about the shadow program and being able to give that to these high school coaches?
I'm not familiar with that.
What do you think about what Josh Clark has done so far?
He's been good. I think I thought he finished really strong. I'm just super impressed with his mental resolve. I think there was some instances last year where you could just see he just got better and better as the year progressed. He's got a consistent process that he commits to, and I don't think you can take for granted the rapport between him, between Ethan, and between Alex, and that's a big deal as those guys are continuing to grow together. But I really like where he's at.
Couple more guys.
Puka obviously missed a lot of camp. And then this year he says when Devontae came in, it was important for him to step back and let Devontae lead. What do you see in that leadership and that relationship this early in camp?
Well, I think there's a great humility by Puka, always continuously try to learn. And I think that's consistent. Devontae is no different. They're always trying to move in the right direction. But Devontae, similar to Cooper, has a bunch of experience. Puka was fortunate enough to learn from Cooper in the first couple of years of his career. And then when Devontae is so willing to share, he's got such an amazing football acumen. Like I mentioned the other day, he sees the game through the lens of a quarterback. There was a specific route the other day that Puka did a great job of running. And you ask him in a team meeting, what were you thinking here? And he gives reference to Devontae about a key tip that he gave him to be able to execute it at a high level. And when you have guys that are doing that for each other, that's special stuff. You guys hear me talk about all the time. Football is the greatest team sport that there is. And when you have teammates that are pushing one another, when there's that mutual respect that exists and that appropriate humility, a lot of good things can follow.
What else have you learned about Devontae that you didn't know? He's been around forever.
I think you're getting to know, the things that are important to him. His family, what a great father, what a great husband he is. He's obviously, he's picked up a real passion for golf, and he's pretty damn good at it, but he's also pretty good at football and passionate about that. So just a special human being, and obviously he's been a great player, so excited to be able to partner up with him.
Brings that into the room too, some of the leadership,
He does,
right?
yeah, absolutely. And that's just natural for who he is, which is great.
Coach, even though we're not in
Last one, guys.
Even though we're not in pass, Kyron Williams and Blake, can you just speak on the productivity from you two?
Yeah, they've been good. I think that running back room as a whole, Kyron's been outstanding. I think he looks explosive. He's got this great energy that everybody thrives off of, but I think he's really understanding, how to really be able to set the example with his play, with the way that he goes about his daily rhythm. I've been super impressed with him, and then I think, Blake's done a great job. You can see he's more and more comfortable. Had the forearm injury at the end of the year last year, but he has been great. I think, he's one of those guys. What I think is really cool is whether you're talking about a Jordan Whittington, a Blake Corum, a Kyron Williams, you don't bet against these guys. These guys are going to figure it out. They're mentally and physically tough people. They're resilient. They've shown consistent instances of being able to respond, but also to stay humble through the good times, and those are the kinds of guys we're looking for.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you, guys.